This is your favorite tenor, Austin Burns, and I'm here today with the song Leave Her, Johnny, Leave Her, which I've done before on my channel. It's off of my second album, Songs of the Sea, and what we're going to do is look at the recording that I made and kind of deconstruct it and go into the various components, the different parts. I'll isolate some things so you can hear all the things that are going on. Then at the end, if you want to skip ahead, you can. I'll play the recording itself so you can hear the fully mastered version of it that ended up on my album. So the first thing that I did, I listened to a lot of different versions of the song, wrote out a very basic version of the melody. Then I started putting the harmonies around it. Generally, I would start with the chords first. I'll show you what it looks like here. Just have the melody here and the chords up here. I'll play just a little bit of it. Yeah, I should note that the recording is in the key of E flat. I played this on guitar with a capo. So anyway, then I go into a more complicated version of it where I take the melody and then I add some harmony parts. We're gonna play just a bit of it, and then it'll change here, or sorry, there. So you can see where the harmonies are coming in now. Then once I get like a 3-part harmony version of the song done, I start doing the recordings. Generally, I play each melody line for each part on the piano, and then I have that as a backing track, and I listen to that while I record. So now that I showed you my score preparation, now we go into the actual recording itself. So let's just hear a little bit of what the session sounds like.
Well, I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's a long, hard pull to your next payday, and it's time for us to leave her.
Now I'll go into the individual tracks so you can hear what some of the parts sound like besides just the melody. I double every part that I do, so I'm gonna solo these 2 parts together.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's a long, hard pull to your next payday, and it's time.
I have things panned between different speakers. So for instance, this soprano part is panned to the right speaker, and then the next part, this bass part, I have panned to the left speaker. So let's hear the bass part now.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's a long, hard pull to your next payday, and it's time for us to leave her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be a bass anytime soon. You get an idea of how those things sound together. The first verse, I wanted it to be a cappella, and then when the chorus came in, I wanted it to open up a bit more. So then I started putting in some different instruments. After that, we see the guitar enters. Same time, we have the cajon coming in, which is a very small portable drum. Then later, we stagger the bass and the shaker coming in at the end of that chorus. Now we'll listen to a part where the guitar comes in as well as the cajon or electronic drum. So this is still all the vocals together. Now we're going to hear the other instruments. Right there you hear the guitar, now the beat. So now it's all together. So then after that verse, then we have the bass come in. It's staggered. And that's kind of a technique that I've been using a lot. I think it's pretty effective for building the drama of a piece. And now we're gonna hear the bass coming in as well as the shaker.
Winds don't blow, and it's time for us to
So the bass is gonna come in here.
Well, pull your lover or you'll get no pay. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, pull your...
These are the 2 parts that are... It's kind of hard to hear it specifically. Then after everything has been in for a verse, I thought, well, I'll drop the bass back out, and then we'll get back to just the vocals. The guitar drops out too. You can hear everything dropping out.
Now it's time for us.
So the beat stays in, but now the other instruments have gone, besides the shaker.
Those pilings, they are drawing nigh, and it's time for.
Then I wanted everything to come back in, and I wanted to add something bigger for the very last verse. I wrote what's called a descant, which is a counter melody that will go on top of the melody. Leave her, Johnny, leave her.
Oh, leave her,
Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her. I sang that wrong. Yeah, that's the most fun part to me. Then everything comes back in. So the guitar, bass, everything. Once I have finished with that, what I do is I bounce that song to disk or put it on my desktop. Then I take that file and I go to this site called eMastered. I drag my track here, and then it masters it for me in just a minute or so. Then I listen back to it. I hear things that maybe I didn't hear before, pre-mastered. Like maybe there's a hissing sound at the beginning, and I think readjust my levels and make sure that there's a fade in for all of the voices and all the parts, and a fade out at the end. Or maybe there's popping, there's p and t and k for a lot of the things, because when I was recording my album, I didn't yet have a pop filter, which is this thing that goes in front of the microphone, kind of catches all that stuff. So if I have any of those, I have to go into the individual tracks and I have to bring the volume down for the very beginning. It'll look like kind of like a V for just those parts where I say a p and a t. So there's a lot of adjusting. So I'm listening, and then I go back and edit my mix, bring it back in here, and it masters it, and then I just keep doing that process until I'm satisfied with the result. Now that you've seen the deconstruction of the song, I would love to play the song for you. So enjoy.
Well, I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's a long, hard pull to your next payday, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, the captain was bad, but the maid was worse. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. He could blow you down with a sigh or a curse, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, pull your lover or you'll get no pay. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, pull your lover and then bailey, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Now it's time for us to say goodbye. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Those pilings, they are drawing nigh, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for